Good evening. Ooh, the microphones actually work tonight. So if you all have not taken a seat, we'll go ahead and get started. Just a second. All right. Well, welcome to all of you that are in person and on Zoom. Tonight it is the first game of the World Series, so go for whichever team you're rooting for. So we'll try to make this quick. That way everybody doesn't miss out on anything. So, yes, very much so. All right. So we'll go ahead and get this meeting started. So welcome to all new members and guests. So tonight I see that we have some guests. If you're a guest, please stand if you're not already standing. See, I see one. That must be Jean. Welcome. And Penny, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. All right. Any new pilots or new ratings? If you're on Zoom, please put it in the comments. We'll publish that later as well. Yes, RC does count. And any new or new to you balloons? Let's see on here. Let's see. I know there's one back here. Caitlin has a new balloon. Congratulations. Maybe. And I know some other organization that got a new balloon as well. So we'll talk about that here shortly. All right. Ballooning in the community. So we have Robert Richardson. Where are you? Stand up, and if you'll tell us briefly what. Oh, no, you're good. Okay. And Ken Ferguson. I saw Ken. What'd you do, Fergie? What'd you do in the community? Ballooning in the community. Flew off with the keys. Oh. That's not what they mean when they say key drop. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad that they got the keys. Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started with the wrap up. So this is everybody's fun fact kind of wrap up.
I have to introduce the speaker.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry, the speaker this month will be Jennifer Garcia. Here we go, Jennifer.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Peter. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So everybody knows that just finished a little bit over 2 weeks ago. So go ahead, Ken, next slide. So as everybody knows, our most recent theme was Time Flies. It was for a short while, Time Flies On, and then we went back to Time Flies, and oh, does it fly? All right. So a lot of you are not familiar with how we receive kind of the facilities before the event. You guys only get to see after it's been switched over when we've been in there for a little bit. So on this picture is a picture of the Sid Cutter inside the first day that AIBF receives the building. We kind of do a walkthrough, just kind of go through the building, see if there's any issues or changes. And if you notice, there are no flags hanging. And do you wonder how those get hung? As our wonderful Sam Parks gets on a scissor lift and hangs all the countries for me. So big round of applause to Sam. And so here on the next slide is the Sid Cutter once you start to see it for registration with the flags and all of the good stuff. Okay, so show me the numbers. I should have put 2020 in here, but I figured we all know what that year was. So 2021, we were down to 535 primary pilots, 115 additional pilots, 88 special shape balloons, 157 Albuquerque aloft balloons registered or assigned, 6 international pilots, 161 New Mexico pilots. There was a request right before the meeting to find out how many female pilots there were. We will get back to you all on that information, but we will make sure to get you that. So when you compare the 2 years, obviously there's a dramatic difference, especially when it comes to international. I'm sure you all watch the news and know that they couldn't make it. So we were thankful to have our 6 that were here. All right, and everybody remembers the gifts. Who love the backpack? Raise your hand. Love it, that's good. The tablet, has everybody set it up and used it? Or are you giving it away as a gift? That's good. Downloaded the maps? Good. All right. So let's go through the glows. So who can forget the Twilight Twinkle with the gas balloons in there? That was a beautiful, our very own Peter and Barbara launching as well. So that was the Twilight Twinkle. We had 216 pilots participating in that evening's glow. That's the first Saturday. The balloon glow is traditionally our largest glow. Some of you unfortunately get bumped from that glow because we don't have enough space. So there was 308 for Sunday's glow. And then for Night Magic, what a sky. Wasn't that a magic show? It was beautiful. 151 pilots. It's usually our smallest glow just because everybody's tired. I don't blame them. So definitely was a beautiful sight if you were at the field that night. America's Challenge, speaking of. So for America's Challenge, of course, because of the international situation, we did lose 2 international teams. So we ended up with 4 American teams, making it a true America's Challenge. So our first place went to Forden and Padelt. And our second place, and I know you're in here, so please stand, is Barbara Fricke and Peter Cunio. And our third place went to Mark Sullivan and Sherry White. So also New Mexico based, New Mexico, Texas. Competition. Wow. What amazing days for competition. I do know that there are a few pilots out there who wish we would have kept Monday, but you know, it still worked out. So amazing shots from competition this year. And our first place and second place are New Mexico-based pilots. Our very own Zarek Wells and his balloon Guilty. Ray Bear was not flying that balloon. He was flying the 50th. So, or not the 50th, I'm sorry, the Fiesta balloon. And then there's also Joe Zavada and his balloon out of Texas. So rounding out the top 10, you can see Cody Robinson, Joe Hartzell, Jonathan Wright, Rick Goosey, Stuart Enlow, Nolan Schuler, and Jessica Price, who's also a New Mexico-based pilot. So it's pretty good. I can tell you what, let's see, 3 out of the 10 are all New Mexico-based pilots. It says something. Congratulations to them all. So new things at Balloon Fiesta. Dick Rice's favorite event was the RCs, which I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, the Fiesta de los Globitos is what Paul called it. So that's what we call the RC event. If you didn't have a chance to go actually out there and see the RCs and the little kids and their reactions, that was worth it alone, just seeing their smiles on their face. And I bet you we have a bunch of budding little pilots out there. And I do know the RCs are getting quite a bit of movement around in different parts of the Albuquerque, getting some events, doing some schools, some private openings, things that of course a hot air balloon couldn't do. And also besides that, you gotta love that new balloon, right? Did everybody get to see it on the last Saturday? It definitely is beautiful. I don't know when her inaugural flight will be, but I'm sure it'll be soon. And it represents all 13 of the original around the balloon. If you haven't seen it, it was all done on inkjet. So I know that we'll be publishing some more pictures here shortly. But I have to say, being involved with the New Mexico Chili Flight guys, getting to see their excitement in the pre-planning of this was amazing, but to actually see it in person.
We aren't able to hear Jennifer on Zoom.
190 calories each. Just saying, you know, but not too bad. 266 golf carts. If you ask Paul and Sam, they'd say that's 166 more than we should have on the field. But of course, they're necessary. The posters. So if you have not bought your last 4 years, including 2020, we do encourage you to buy whatever one you're missing, because the next year is supposed to be a very special edition. So this is just your gentle reminder that we have some in the gift shop you should purchase. And then also to add in here, Balloon Fiesta has 13 full-time staff members, 5 part-time staff members, and then 12 seasonal. So people think that there's a lot of us, but we really rely on our volunteers, who are our true superheroes. So this year we ended up with 990 superheroes. We were starting out the year with about 1,200, but of course with COVID, travel restrictions, everything that comes along with that, we ended up with 990 of them, because our official photographers are still uploading photos. These are the ones that I could get off of the drive. So you'll see our 2021 launch director team. They all joked that they were all zits this year after a year off, but they did an amazing job. We greatly appreciate them. And then part of our flight operations team and weather and all of the other red coats. So I think you'll see a few familiar faces in here, and we thank everybody for participating and giving us their time. All right, here's where people get called to the tower. So the standard low flight under 200 feet, low flight under 75 feet, 75 feet pylons, everybody knows, but unmanned inflation fans. That was a lot. I make a conscious effort to make sure my inflation fan is manned even on the weekends now, you know, one of those. No second tie-offs when required, typically glows. Basket to envelope contact, launching without permission, and then left basket while inflated. Too many passengers in your basket per the ops manual. There's some guilty parties. PZ violations, red and yellow. This year, unfortunately, we did have 4 power line accidents, and then 2 accidents that resulted in a sprain or broken bones, in addition to the power line. So it's unfortunate, and we're thinking of everybody who's been involved in any of those. Hope to be able to learn from them in the future. All right, so this is a video that has been put out on Facebook. This is Will Taylor with APD showing the last Saturday's candlestick. So go ahead and play the film. And I think Sam said this is the longest candlestick for the national anthem that we might have done. 4 or 5 minutes, or 4 or 5 gallons of fuel, I understand. And if you are not, it's under Fly New Mexico if you want to see it up close and not as grainy of a texture. And then our next video is from Aerostat, who did the drone footage. So we've gotten this video off of Facebook, and this is kind of his farewell wrap-up video, but it also shows a different perspective, which we felt was very important. Pretty amazing, isn't it? So he's got quite a few other videos on Facebook or on his website. I do know that he also has a YouTube channel. So he's got a bunch of different varieties that you can take a look at and see some of the footage on the thing. And who can forget, I know all of you like to watch game film, right? And you're all so busy participating. Where else can you find some game film?
Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by ExxonMobil. Direct from the rooftop studio at Balloon Fiesta Park in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Here are the hosts of Balloon Fiesta Live, Glenn Moyer and Art Lloyd Jr.
So if you want to catch yourself in some game film and see what other friends that you can find in the videos, you can go to Balloon Fiesta, balloonfiesta.com/live stream to watch all of the 9 days, correct? Or did you guys do 10? So 41 hours of game film. So I encourage you to check it out. There's some pretty amazing stuff on there and some unique interviews that you guys don't realize occur during the event while everybody's flying. So, but we couldn't do this without you all. It was wonderful to get 2021 done so we can get to the next year, which is going to be our 50th. So for all the pilots in the room, you should have received a survey. Please complete that before November 12th. We greatly appreciate it. Lots of unique questions on there, but we want to know the good, bad, and different. So are there any questions? Steve? We're still getting those numbers, which I don't know if that's a good thing. That could mean a lot of propane. So I think this year we were down 3 sessions is what we lost. In 2019, we lost 1 session. So we still anticipate quite a bit of fuel consumption. In 2019 was 83,000 gallons that we consumed. So we'll probably play a very cool, unique little guessing game on social media to see how many people can get close. All right, if there's not any question, oh, Wally. That's still being worked on. He's feverishly working away in his corner office with the tape, which is coming out the door. Yes. Yes. We anticipate hopefully having results sometime next week, about a week and a half. We're still compiling some last minute numbers. So yes, we don't know the number yet exactly of what our maximum number will be for acceptance. Every year, we always accept more with the natural attrition. And every year, our goal is to accept 10% new pilots, up to 10% new every year, as long as they've obtained their certificate prior to March 1st. So if that's it, I want to say, oh, JD. Yes, absolutely. Well, that's what we're going to talk about next. But I want to say a huge congratulations to the Sid Cutter Award recipient this year, Tom Fisher. Please stand. Bravo. And more about Tom Fisher's award will be in the Cloud Bouncer, which will be going out this evening. So, all right. So since we're all done, we'll go ahead and move on to the update about the medical NPRM. So either Beth or Sam Parks, whichever would like to present about the by default. Yep.
Thank you. Before we get on to that, I would just like to thank the Quad A Club for all the assistance in putting on this year's Balloon Fiesta. We asked everyone to just be patient as we went through a year in which that we were rebuilding in some places, had a lot of new people in some new places and new positions, and I thought it went very well. So thanks again to Quad A and all your support. Appreciate that a lot. Okay, let's go back to 2016 when we had a 15 person fatality in Lockhart, Texas. And it was at the time in which that the NTSB had made a proposal that all airmen, essentially all airmen, should have to have a medical certificate of some variety to participate in hot air ballooning. I was part of a team that went to Washington, D.C. as part of the hearing on that subject matter. And then at the time, the FAA felt like that there had been sufficient amount of regulations established in order for balloon pilots to fly balloons without a second class medical, because it was the opinion of the FAA at the time that those were not needed. So just to fast forward then to HR, my memory is escaping me, 302-203, it was the FAA Reauthorization Act that took place in 2018 that basically funded the FAA. And during that session for legislation, there was an integration of this requirement as part of that FAA Reauthorization Act. So that was passed. And in the body of the bill, it essentially said that anyone conducting ride operations should have to have a second class medical. So that's been going on for quite some time and with no action taken on it whatsoever. And so I'm part of a committee that's called a Call to Action Committee that we meet with the FAA at the Washington, D.C. level of AFS 800 on a monthly basis to get input and also to listen to our concerns. And so our most recent meeting that we had with them indicated that the NPRM is now imminent, looking at a rollout of November 30th, which means that if indeed that date is true, then on November 30th, it'll be a 60-day period in which that we as balloonists then can answer or make suggestions, defend, or be in opposition against whatever that wording is going to be for the new rule. I have an understanding from the representatives who actually wrote the law that they indicated that it would be for commercial pilots across the board. However, it would exempt instruction. So if you are not if you are not instructing and you do not, let me say it another way. If you're not exercising the privileges of your commercial certificate, then the way that it's written currently, you do not need a second-class medical. However, if you are exercising your privileges of a commercial ticket, then the way the law reads is that you would have to have a second-class medical. So you'll have an opportunity to speak. And one thing that I know for sure is that they will throw away form letters in the trash. So it has to be from your voice, your opinions, and not collectively for Quad A. You have to do it individually. And so I also understand that once the 60-day period is up, it'll take upwards of a year in order for whatever rule is decided on, if any, to become law. So at this time, I'll answer any questions that you may have. Yes. If you are a commercial pilot and you're getting compensated for whatever ballooning activity, then you're exercising the privileges of your certificate. If you have a commercial certificate and you are, as I understand it now, if you are in instructing, then that would be exempt. However, I only hear that from a conversation. I haven't seen anything in writing, so I don't really know what the NPRM is going to say. Blair? I don't think so. And the reason why I say I don't think so is because they have indicated to us that once the 60-day period is up, and it'll take approximately a year, as their term, not mine, for it to become law. I can't say that they would consider that a grace period, but I have not heard of anything past that time period. Yes, ma'am. Once it becomes law, then the answer to that is yes. Sure. The question is that if would Balloon Fiesta require that if you're exercising the privileges of your certificate, such as a banner carrier, paying rides, whatever, if you're working for Rainbow Riders? And the answer is yes. We would have to comply with the FAA regulations at that point. Yes, Peter. No, but let's consider this. If they do, and this again, I'm only hearing this from the person who's writing it. I haven't read anything yet because it hasn't come out. But if instruction is exempted, and then even if you've been turned down for a medical in the past, as long as you are not exercising the privileges of that certificate, you can still fly, you can still instruct. For example, and this is the way I interpret it now, as I understand it, as a commercial pilot myself, if I could not get a second-class medical, I could still fly. I just couldn't exercise the privileges of said commercial certificate, which means I couldn't fly anything for compensation. I could still fly. It's not going to prevent me from flying and maintain my certificate. So it's a little different for balloonists as it is for fixed wing. Yes. I'm not saying anything because I haven't read it yet. But as I've been told that that instruction would be exempted, but until we read it, we don't know. I'm not going to answer that. I can't because I don't know what it says. Yeah. Wally. Exactly. We need to have that defined by the FAA's legal team to determine whether or not, if indeed instruction is indeed exempted, and can you do that for compensation? And I don't know the answer, nor would I say.
Sam, I have a couple of online questions. Is there any indication about where doing flight reviews comes? Is that instruction? Is that Any indication in your conversations along that line?
It did not come up.
And what about being compensated by getting a room at a rally in exchange for giving sponsor rights? Did that come up?
It did not. However, I think there's been previous legal interpretation from the FAA, a legal force, that indicated that that was not compensation. The way that it was described to me in the phone conversation, yes. But I'm not going to believe anything until I read it in writing. So if indeed it does go live November 30, we'll know for sure what it says. Yes, JD. Okay, good point, JD. All right, if there's no further questions, yes, Blair. That's a different subject altogether. No, that rule actually became law January 1, 2020. And so it's completely different from, the requirement for a medical is not tied to that at all. Yeah. Oh, that was question is pertaining to whether there be any modification to the rules requiring ADSB. And to my knowledge, that has not been changed. I will point out to you, since you brought up the subject, that we are talking to some of the electronics officials within the FAA to try to come up with a possible plug and play type of ADSB unit for ballooning. Yes. It did. We lobbied to try to get this, if it was going to come out, if it could only pertain to ride operators flying balloons, for example, 140 and larger. However, the answer I got is that the 2-passenger ride is just as important as the 22-passenger ride. So they deemed that commercial operations are commercial operations, period. Yes. Yes, and they reminded me that all they're doing is just answering what Congress has required the FAA to do. It's just taking them this long to get it done. Which means that all commercial operations, if you're exercising the privileges of your certificate. Okay.
Thank you, Sam. All right, so we'll move along to board reports or updates. All right, Peter, he'll be letting us know what's happening next month, which probably follows our very important conversation.
Thank you, Jennifer. Ooh, that's loud now. Just to summarize what we just heard, the sequence that we're going through now is back in 2018, Congress passed a law requiring the FAA to do something. The FAA took its time to decide what it was going to do. It is now about to publish something called an NPRM, which is a notice of proposed rulemaking. This is not the final rule. There's 60 days for public to comment. And if there is something in the proposed rulemaking that we don't like, such as we're not allowed to do biennial flight reviews, the specific comments that the FAA is going to be listening to are ones that pertain to a specific part of the rule. And these should be presented independently by each person, and the FAA will look at the preponderance of comments and maybe make a change in that 60-day period. After that 60-day period is over, they will formulate the final version of the law, and there will be an effective period probably a year after that. So we're about 3 steps, 2.5 steps into a 4-step process at this point. Does not require any more interaction with the Senate or the federal House of Representatives. We're past that point right now, at least for this notice of proposed rulemaking. I just thought maybe I would clarify that. So for November, we had Dave Eichhorn lined up to talk about a rookie's performance in the U.S. National Championship. Not clear right now whether we will keep Dave on, and I apologize to Dave for that, or whether we will spend the whole meeting talking about the notice of proposed rulemaking. Since it's not going to be out until after the meeting, we'll have to have a board decision on that one. We will let you know. While I'm talking about Dave, I'm going to switch over to ADSB. I want to let everyone know that Dave is, as he mentioned last month, working very diligently on an ADSB unit that can be put into balloons. And I apologize if I gave the wrong impression with Dave last month, that I thought that was not a worthwhile thing to do, because I think it really is. And I think it's very possible on that subject that at some point in the future, a certain segment of us may be required to have ADSB in our balloons. That is less clear and probably further out in the future than the other topic we were just talking about, FAA related. So stay tuned for who our and what our topic is going to be for November. No meeting in December. I'm still working on a topic for January. Other than that, I would also like to second the congratulations to Tom Fisher for well-deserved. Tom is the epitome of the Sid Cutter Award. He's the person who works behind the scenes. You don't see him. He's not out there blowing his own horn, but if you look at the amount of work that he has done, it's over a period of time, an amazing amount of work. That's about all I have.
Thank you, Peter. All right, we're going to jump ahead to Dick in the cloud bouncer, right? Perfect. Pie charts in the cloud bouncer. But Dick does want to know for November what your favorite kind of pie is. I'm just letting you know. So be on the lookout for that question. So, and I do know that I'll go ahead and bring Doug up here. He's going to be doing a few of our absentee board reports. So we'll go ahead and bring him up here. And if you'll start with the secretary, Doug. Taylor's report. Oh, I'll locate it and I'll put it up. Okay, so we'll come back to that one. So I'll give it to Doug. He can do community relations, and then we'll move along.
Just go ahead and do mine after that. Good evening, everybody. The community relations report from Jason is that on Sunday, October 31st, the city of Albuquerque is hosting their third annual Trunk or Treat event here at Balloon Fiesta Park, and the event is scheduled from 4 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. He says they're expecting around 3,000 people with various booths. If you've ever done this event before, you know what it is. It's a big community event. And it's growing every year. But anyway, they are looking for a few balloons to glow that particular evening. We're going to post Jason's full report on the Facebook page, and it'll have a website that you can go to. You can get to it through the cabq.gov/parks and regs /event/trunk or treat. And then it's a free event for the city. And they also have a contact John Fitzgerald with the city. There'll be a phone number and an email for him on the particular website as well, for you guys to reach out to him. We sure appreciate anybody who's available that particular evening to come out and glow for the people that will be here. Any questions on that? Okay, thank you.
Secretary report, really quick. We have 3 new members who we'd like to introduce and welcome to the club. The first is Aaron Scott. I don't have any further information on location. I don't think he's here tonight. Colin McClung, also not here, I don't think, and Thomas G-O-U-G-H, Goff, or Go. Goff. Oh, that's Tom Goff. Oh, okay. Thomas, that threw me off. I wasn't sure. Okay. And he's not here tonight either. And that is what I have for Secretary's report.
Okay, double treat tonight, putting on my flying events hat. For November, our event will be the 13th. Will be a fly-in up at the Rio Rancho Field. December brings us our traditional Jingle Bell Rally, which will be the 11th and 12th, that particular meeting. Also posted on our website is to calculate the weight and temperatures for balloons, real important with everything else that we're having discussions on for us to be available about. And I will also briefly touch on a meeting that Ray Bear, Peter Cuneo, and I had in September. We had a meeting with the Rio Rancho mayor discussing basically the future of ballooning up in the Rio Rancho area and making sure that we had lots of opportunities for launch and landing sites. It's all preliminary at this particular stage, but if you've ever dealt with a public official before, you know, you're loaded to go in and do everything in 10 or 15 minutes because that's typically what you get with them. He gave us 90 minutes. He really loves balloons up in the area, wants to see it continue, and we're going to continue to maintain those discussions with them and see if we can't develop some new fields for us to launch and land from. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Doug, Peter, in your various roles this evening. Come on down, Elisa, for special events.
Okay, special events, as Doug said, December 11th and 12th, we'll have the Jingle Bell Rally. It is going to be at Balloon Fiesta Park. Sid Cutter Pavilion. We don't know what that consists of right now because of COVID. I will be meeting with them next week to find that out. We will be having a toy drive. Toy drive, if you don't bring toys, you can have money. That's going to go to the Barrett House. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but that's the home for abused women and children. And so money will be going to them. We will also have a bring cookies to share. And we're going to have an ugly Christmas sweater contest. And we're also going to have a kids corner. And so that's going to be our Jingle Bell Rally. The theme is reignite the magic. And we'll be selling pins and t-shirts. Pardon me? Registration information is rsvp@hotairballooning.org.
Perfect. That will also be in the Cloud Bouncer as well, so that way you can make sure that you RSVP. All right, so we were whizzing through the board reports education. Go ahead, take it away, Ken.
Meg is online, so she's asked me to thank all of the education committee for all the work they did on the safety seminar during pilot registration. We had more than 300 people attend the safety seminar, and the education committee worked really hard to put that on and to do that in the middle of the week during Balloon Fiesta. Pretty incredible. If you missed it, you can go onto the website and onto the store, which Tom manages. And for $20, you can buy access to the videos and see what we did at that registration. So congratulations on that. Our online private pilot ground school continues to be available. Hopefully in mid-November, early to mid-November, we'll have the commercial ground school online so that you can go after your commercial certificate and your medical certificate as well, I guess. And we will be returning to in-person ground schools in addition to leaving the online ones available. So we'll have a schedule on that coming up shortly. I think that's it for education.
Thank you, Ken. All right, for ways and means, here's Karen.
All right, my leggings, it was a Halloween party at work, sorry. Ways and means, a couple things coming up. The 50th anniversary pins are ordered, they should be in soon. And then there's gonna be a couple of fundraising activities, like the paint nights. One will be wine glasses or pint glasses coming up in December, and in January, it'll be canvases. So once those are finalized, I will get those out. Other than that, that's all oh, there was something else. So I'm trying to send out the letters for sponsorships. And in the past, we had offered tickets to the banquet, and the board was wondering if there was interest in having a banquet in early 2022. Yay or nay? Any kind of feelings about that? You can email the board at hotairballooning.org. The awards banquet, yeah. No thoughts. Goes, no goes? We'll put a poll out and then we'll go from there. All right, that's all I've got.
Thank you, Karen. All right, and I know crew development is also working for Jingle Bell, so she'll be updating that as well. So other ballooning organizations, FAA, well, I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about on that one. BFA, no. VFRS, I don't see anybody here. Top Gun, and while he's making his way up here, obviously the Fiesta report was already done. So after Dave, it'll be Balloon Museum or Foundation, so.
Okay, I'm also trying to put together a safety seminar for the end of February. And part of that is I'm trying to trade my time for the Sid Cutter. I'm going to be doing the Glow Halloween night here on the field. Does anybody else know they want to do it that night? So Will, you'll do it? Blair, you're not raising your hand, man. Okay. I owe John Fitzpatrick a memo, a note, so I'm going to send in your name, my name, and a couple others that I know about. For Top Gun, the last Top Gun event, Will Fitzpatrick was the event director, did something a little different. He did a change of altitude and a time in box exercise. So you had to enter the box and change altitude by at least 2,000 feet and spend the maximum time in the box. So we're trying to make this more challenging for the balloonists and to demonstrate more and more aircraft control. And then there was a target with a time of arrival. So the target switched every 10 minutes. So you had to know what time it was in order to hit the right target. And then a pilot, oh, it was fun. No. Well, wind does it. So, okay. Yes, the wind did not cooperate. I am hoping to give you next month a look at the nationals and some of the lessons learned out of it. I'll give you the punchline right now. I did not do well, but that means I've got a steep, ladder to climb. But there was a lot of good stuff I thought came out of it. So, but anyway, Top Gun is there to help you make sure you fly the balloon and the balloon doesn't fly you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Balloon Museum Foundation.
So has anybody been through the airport recently? Maybe on a Southwest flight when you had a lot of time to peruse the airport? Did anybody see the new exhibit on balloons that is in the Grand Hall on 2 levels? This is a Balloon Museum production, and it's pretty interesting. They've got Ward Van Tassel live doing a presentation, which is pretty good since I think he died about 100 years ago. But, interesting, not worth getting on an airplane to go look at specifically, but you don't need to go through the metal detector to get there. It's in the open section. The other thing that the Balloon Museum is working feverishly on is an exhibit for the 50th Balloon Fiesta. That will, we hope, be up and running before the 50th Balloon Fiesta. And so stay tuned on that one. That's all we got.
Thank you. Are you ready for the wonderful, famous raffle? For all of you that are, oh, Al, you had a question? Okay, and Al, if you wouldn't mind just sending it to board so we can make sure to get it out there online for you as well. Thank you. And if for those of you at home, he was asking for the menorah, 9 balloons are needed for December 5th, post Gallup. So, all right, and Peter's getting out his goodies for raffle. All of you at home missed out. Oh, wow. He's got a bag of good stuff. Fred?
the question was, last month or 2 months ago, we requested that anybody who requested permission to enter the Class C airspace from approach and was denied to let us know about it because we're trying to collect statistics on how many balloons are actually trying to get in there. And to answer your question, that I know of one request that was denied. And I would, not going to recommend that anyone contact approach a lot, but if anyone is in a situation where they need, or think they're going to need to get into the Class C airspace and do not have ADSB in the balloon, which is everyone, the proper procedure is to contact approach control and request procedure. And if you are denied, if this does happen and you are denied, we would like to know about it because we are still trying to collect statistics. So thank you for mentioning that. But the answer is, I've only heard of one case where it's actually happened.
Thank you very much. All right, everybody got your raffle tickets up? All right,
You want to be safe, guys.
first aid kit. The last four, 2677. Come on down. It's like the Price is Right. It is. Ooh. I'll let Peter draw the next one then. I know, but do you, I don't know, I think.
Oh, what a coincidence. It's my number. No, it's not. 2693.
2693.
2693.
William.
How about some nice gloves for your crew bag?
All right, how many more? Is it a grab and go kind of bag?
Grab and go kind of bag. Pretty much lots of weird stuff in here.
Hand sanitizer. Everybody should be giving that out for trick or treaters. I'm just kidding. 2670. I think you get to pick in the bag. Oh, look, Dave, come on down. We might have a glove clip, some hand sanitizer in there for you. Oh, you're giving it all. Oh, okay. So did you have anything else or is that it? Big TV, wouldn't that be nice? No. Well, if that'll wrap it up. So we look forward to seeing you all. The cloud bell will go out either tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. We'll also update you in regards to November once we have that finalized. Any other questions or concerns? It was great to see your smiling faces again. We'll see you all soon. Have a good night. Thank you.